Hey YouTube, what is up? There's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh news to talk about this week, but the first thing I want to talk about is the Link Vrains pack, which is a new pack coming out in Japan sometime in November. I believe it's towards the end of November. What this pack is designed to do is give OCG original archetypes like Lightsworns a step up essentially into the Link era, because a lot of decks are struggling to adapt, and Konami really hasn't given us enough support or enough Link monsters to make almost any old deck viable, unless they don't rely on the extra deck, which is a little weird, or they only rely on bringing out one extra deck monster. So it makes sense that they have to give us like a Link Lightsworn monster. I'm really excited because I want to see what the other archetypes that are getting support are. Basically, even Lightsworn isn't confirmed. All they said that it was OCG original archetype, so that could include anime decks. I'm not too sure if it really would. I assume it's more like decks that just originated in Japan that are probably outside of the anime, because those decks are a little different in the way they play, and usually they're more competitive, so we might actually get stuff like, you know, Six Sams and stuff like Lightsworns to hop up into the Link era, as opposed to just getting like weird contact fusion monsters and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see what this pack leads to. Hopefully we can get something like this for the TCG. Shout out to Link Dante. I want BA back. That deck would be fucking disgusting if it had a Link monster. Either way, let's keep going because there's other stuff to talk about. We learned the two other promo cards that are coming from the Code of the Duelist Special Edition. The first two cards we knew of that were going to be reprinted were Solemn Strike and Skullmaster, but now we know what the two cards we are getting an advanced printing of from Circuit Break are. Those two cards are Cyber's Beacon, which really doesn't matter to be honest with you, and Miss Starboy. Miss Starboy is essentially the water version of Mrs. Radiant. They're going to be giving attribute-specific Link monsters to help out just decks in general, as opposed to giving archetype-specific Link monsters. It seems like they're going first for generic Link monsters to help out in general, just water, earth, fire, wind, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Miss Starboy is actually probably going to lead to an increased play in Mermails and other water decks. Maybe Paleozoic might jump back into the fray, because these decks do really benefit from having Miss Starboy. It actually helps these decks get to a pretty decent board turn one, and I think that's what Mermail was lacking. Also, they have a hard time outing Masterpiece, but I feel like once Masterpiece goes to one, Water's going to have an easier time, and they might see a resurgence. So hopefully we can get Mermails back in, because that deck has always been a solid rogue deck for the last 2 or 3 years. So I really would like to see how it operates in the Link format, especially with Miss Starboy. And on top of that, we learned what the reprints will be in the Circuit Break Special Edition. It's so weird that we can know what the reprints are for a set that we haven't even gotten yet, and that's the special edition of the set. It's pretty crazy how far forward we're actually getting these leaks, but essentially it's confirmed to be Stardust Chronicle Spark Dragon and Raw Sphere Mode. Usually we only get one decent reprint, and this time around it happens to be the Raw Sphere Mode, but I'm surprised that with this Code of the Duelist Special Edition, we're actually getting two pretty decent reprints, being Skullmeister and Solemn Strike. We knew about Solemn Strike and Skullmeister for a little while now, but I'm just surprised they actually decided to give us two really decent cards. Skullmeister really didn't have any other printings, so I guess it's good that we're getting the reprint of that. My only fear is that Solemn Strike is probably going to get hit, because once we get a very easily accessible printing of a card, then that usually dooms it, especially when we get an OTS reprint of a card. That really puts it on my radar for about to be banned. I look forward to picking up common Solemn Strikes, because I got rid of my secret rares, because I don't have a deck right now, because I just don't want to play in Links, to be honest with you. I'm waiting for a actual viable deck to come forth. I don't want to play like a pre-Link era deck that just happens to work in Links. I want to try to play a good Link deck. But that's enough about me complaining about Link format. Let's get onto the reprints for the Megatons that really matter, and I feel like there's been consistent leaks, and most of the stuff that, you know, has been leaked is pretty obvious. Like, obviously we're going to get Zodiac reprints, obviously we're going to get Metal Foes reprints, but there's some cards that people were unsure of and have been confirmed. I feel like these are the cards that most people will be chasing after in this Megaton. We're getting a Cosmic Cyclone reprint, a Magician's Navigate reprint, and a Ghost Cherries reprint. Those are confirmed. Cosmic Cyclone is apparently coming in a structure deck, but I'm glad we're getting another printing of it. I feel like having two secret rare printings and a common printing is probably the way to go. If you can't get the obviously original printing, you can actually pick up the cheaper secret rare printing that still looks good, that isn't a common. Some people just don't like playing commons, and I get it. This will probably drop Cosmic Cyclone's price to maybe $5 or $10. Hopefully I can pick up a playset of the originals for like $5. I'm looking forward to finally being able to pick up a playset instead of having to borrow my friends. Shout out to Lewis for letting me borrow them for Nats, and I unfortunately didn't do anything with them. I'm actually pretty excited for Magician's Navigate as well, because that probably means we're going to get the Dark Magical Circle reprint as well. So hopefully I can pick up cheaper Magicians. I had Magicians as well, high rarity, and then I eventually moved it because I wanted to pick up Blue Eyes to play it competitively. So I'm looking forward to just getting more I guess, Dark Magician support to make the deck for fun instead of having to put a lot of money into it, because even though Dark Magicians isn't meta relevant, it's always been a very expensive deck to make. So now hopefully it'll be a little cheaper. And Ghost Cherries was pretty cheap to begin with. It was probably like $15 for a single card, which isn't that much for a secret rare that does what it does. But I feel like in Link format, I guess it could be a little more viable than in the past, because we have such a small pool of viable Link monsters. If you Ghost Cherries their, Decode Talker or something like that, it could easily sway a game for you. So I'm excited to see what happens now that we have Ghost Cherries being more prolific, but I think that's more so a problem with the fact that we don't have enough Link monsters and not the fact that Ghost Cherries is overwhelmingly strong. And one last thing I'd like to mention is that I'm actually in another YugiTuber tournament. This time around, it's to actually play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And not about making videos. It's called the YugiTuber Grand Championship Mokuba League. It's very similar to Simo's League, but it's just for people with not 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 subscribers. So I'm actually in the tournament now, and I just won my first round against Red Eye Stardust Dragon. His channel is actually pretty cool. I'm going to link it in the description, so don't forget to check him out as well. But the first few rounds of the tournament aren't going to be posted online just because there's so many people. I think there's like 32 entrants, so to narrate like 16 games straight and post it on one channel would kind of just get monotonous. But the semifinals and the finals can be found on YUGIOH's channel when they do happen. I'll let you guys know how I progress and if I do make it to the semifinals and stuff like that. And I'd also like to give a shout out to young Breezy, who told me about this tournament in the first place. His channel will also be linked in the description down below. Hopefully I can win this tournament and get the sick custom mat. Hopefully I can win this one, because the prize for this is a custom mat, which is the one thing I didn't get from winning the Next Great YugiTuber. I just never got the mat for that. So hopefully I can get a custom mat for once in my life and enjoy playing on it. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe, because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.